So imagine yourself blowing between like your hand, like you just going to like warm up like the inside of your hand. But if you notice, if you pay attention to the sensation of the heat, right? When it's coming out, it's warm. It is making like a spiral, right? It goes from like the top because heat naturally rises. Heat always wants to rise. Cold air always stays down. That's why the lowest part of wherever you are is always the coldest compared to the highest part. It's just at least here on Earth or Terra. That's how it works. So if you pay attention to the same thing, but your hand is not vertical, it's horizontal, but you still get the same, I guess, the same feeling, right? When you're pushing the air to go across. Because eventually, even if you let it sit down after a while, like, he is always leaving. He is never coming in. This is an interesting part of the body. We're always releasing heat. Why are we always constantly releasing heat? Like, it's a lot of heat being radiated by us. But it's also too, like, you gotta keep your organs and whatever function is happening to operate at a certain temperature. So you need things to always operate in a certain way. That's why every system tends to focus on a source of energy. Because if you focus on a source of energy, and I try to always find new energy, you tend to have it more accessible and it's not scattered. And you always have to kind of guess your game, right? You can guess your game if you know how to consume your food, right? So it's the same way with living, right? So it's like if you're constantly making just wild decisions, right, with no kind of stepping back and thinking about your decisions, and you're just constantly making new decisions over and 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 over again, and you kind of lose purpose, right? And if you lose purpose, then that's how things kind of get forgotten, right? Because then eventually you stop taking care of things. It's like it's insane now. It's like, what is it like? A person now has like more intercourse compared to like people at one point, right? Like, because people were more like it was more conservative. Like people were more thoughtful of, hey, what is this gonna look like? I think that's the difference. What is this gonna look like to others? We don't care about that anymore. I don't care what nobody else thinks. It's my life. What am I gonna do about it? Now, what are they gonna do about it? They're not stepping on my stones. How are they supposed to tell you how to live? But then it goes that way too, because it's also, in order for you to judge others, you have to accept to be judged, and you can't pick and choose when and where you could be judged. If you can't do it the same to others, you're constantly judging others in your mind. Just because you're not doing it verbally, you're still judging, right? So that's the part that a lot of people forget. Like, just because you're not verbally judging doesn't mean that you're not judging. I mean, then you feel the energy, because that's the thing. Is like people think, because I'm not saying it verbally, that person doesn't know what I'm saying. Like, we connect in more than one way than just the physical body. That there's more way to communicate than just the physical body or whatever you find communication is. You name it, like anything you. So just put yourself from a mathematical standpoint, right? So if you have sense anything in life, with any sense, that means sense, right? So that means you're using hearing, your touch, your smell, your sight, right? Your taste, and whatever other senses you have, right? Because everybody has more than one senses too. There's another misconception. There's more than 5 senses. So if you use all your senses and you feel all these things, so this is all things that you can physically remember, right? So that means physically things that you can feel. That's just in your physical body, right? That's all these sensations that you have. But after a long time, you forget about them because you choose to ignore them. So babies go fucking berserk. Like, imagine feeling your body for the first time. Imagine feeling every little thing that you have. constantly until it becomes background noise. And that's how we lose our memory, because we eventually label things as background noise. And background noise is not just for the hearing. Background noise also applies for the other senses. That's the part that, again, we need to talk about. Other senses, you can block them too. The same way you can block your hearing. You can block other senses by choice. Okay? The greatest trick the devil ever played on humans is making them not believe in themselves. It's not even about God. Making them not believe in themselves. The word is doubt. The word is doubt. The moment doubt was introduced to man is the moment man dies. If you follow every story in the Bible, it's the same concept. They all fail when they have doubt. There's only one person who didn't have doubt. And for the consequence of it, you die. You lose the body for it. You can't return. That's the choice we have to make every time we die. Whether we want to return or not. Every single time you die, you have to make the choice whether you want to return or not. You're either going to trap yourself forever in the cocoon, or you're going to sprout and be a butterfly.